So when the Rams traded 2 first-round picks to the Lions for Matthew Stafford, we all knew it was time for Detroit to move on from Matthew Stafford. If I remember correctly, he ended up requesting a trade, and we all knew that he was going to be out of there sooner or later. There were a couple teams interested. I know that the Rams obviously were interested. I know that Denver made an offer for him because everyone knew that this guy could ball. Everybody who either paid attention or was a Lions fan in itself knew that Matthew Stafford was a very, very, very good quarterback and likely held back by the fact that the Lions really just could never find anything to surround him with. It's too bad that Dan Campbell never got to coach Matthew Stafford because this new era of Lions football, while they are probably the worst roster in the league besides Houston, and we all thought before the year began that they may legitimately win 4 games this year, or less. They have scared the shit out of 3 very, very, very good teams. They gave a heart attack to the 49ers. They looked incredible in the first half against Green Bay. Then the rest of the game happened. And then they took the Ravens down to the wire, which ended up requiring Tucker to kick a 66-yard field goal for the Ravens to win the game. And there was also a clip on Twitter that surfaced that shows that there was a missed delay of game call that caused the Lions to win. And that's neither here nor there, but because delay of game calls go missed all the time, but when you miss it by a second and a half, that's pretty terrible. But regardless, the Lions are scaring the shit out of teams, and they finally, look to be on the right track. I know their 2019 or 2020 third overall pick, Jeff Okudah, is already in serious trouble, man. He already tore his Achilles, couldn't stay, he stayed on the field last year, but when he was on the field, he was not very good. And a lot of that was due to the fact that Matt Patricia just was a completely incompetent head coach. But yeah, the Dan Campbell era of Lions football looks like it's in full swing. But before that, we need to talk about the man himself, Matthew Stafford. Last year, he ended up having some good weapons with DeAndre Swift and Kenny Golladay, but he went to the Rams. They have Cooper Kupp. They have Robert Woods. They would have had Cam Akers. I would love to have seen Cam Akers with this fully healthy Los Angeles Rams offense with Stafford under center. And, man, this is Goff. This is very telling about Jared Goff because how many times do you think Jared Goff opens his eyes and realizes, wow, I finally get why the Rams did it? Because he could barely adjust his helmet without needing help from McVay. And when it comes down to it, the Rams thought they wouldn't win a Super Bowl with Jared Goff. You play in an ultra-competitive division. The Rams never, ever have a first-round pick. Their philosophy is more splurging on guys that can play and just overall splurging and investing in superstar talent while having the depth pieces. The depth pieces aren't as good as the rest of their competition, but they still have some guys who can ball. They still have some guys who can play. And Matthew Stafford, for the first 3 weeks of this year, is the MVP favorite over Kyler Murray, Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady, Justin Herbert, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Dak Prescott, Russell Wilson, Derek Carr, Joe Burrow, Baker Mayfield, Jameis Winston, and Derrick Henry. And the Rams are 3-0. Their Super Bowl odds have moved to plus 800 after they just completely annihilated Tampa Bay at home on Sunday. And, Tampa Bay's pass defense, I know they've been a little wishy-washy. It certainly is not the same pass defense we saw that just completely destroyed Patrick Mahomes last year at the Super Bowl. But they still got some guys who can play. And the fact that Matthew Stafford went toe-to-toe with Tom Brady, they're not really even toe-to-toe. The Rams were in the lead, were in control for pretty much the entire game, and were never in real danger of losing. But yeah, when you pair Matthew Stafford with a great offensive mind like Sean McVay, this is the result you get, man. And it is more than clear now that Jared Goff is just holding back the Rams from accomplishing what they should have. My personal pick before the year began, for the NFC Championship, was Rams versus 49ers. The Rams are looking incredibly good, but my pick to go to the Super Bowl from the NFC was the 49ers. Yeah, so they're not looking all that great, or certainly as great as I would have hoped. But, Ayuk's out of the doghouse, and yeah. But the problem that, both these teams have is that they play in an ultra-competitive division. So it's very, very likely, or I'm not going to say likely, but very possible, by the time we get to January, that we could see 4 NFC West teams in the playoffs with the expanded format. So if we get the Rams, 49ers, Seahawks, and Cardinals all in the playoffs, which looks like it is not out of the possibilities, there's a very good chance that, 4 of those teams, they come into the playoffs and they play against, if you play against the Cowboys or play a team like the Packers, who are relatively going to be uncontested this year in pursuit of their division crowns, then yeah, I don't know. Because at that point, they're just going to be so beat up from the division games that it's just going to be a complete bloodbath. It'd be very difficult to make it out of the Thunderdome. So yeah, all Stafford needed to do to play winning football was get out of Detroit. Right now, according to Vegas Insider, the Chiefs are the Super Bowl favorite, and I just flat out cannot agree with that. No matter who they have on their offensive side of the ball, there are 3 teams ahead of you in the division, and your defense looks absolutely pitiful. Now, that's not to say I don't think they'll win the division, because, they're going to eventually, do what the Chiefs do, and they're eventually going to score a lot of points, and that'll likely be more than enough to put them in, position for that first round bye. But right on the heels of them, we got the Buccaneers, and we also got the Rams. This doesn't make sense to me how the Buccaneers are above the Rams, considering what we just saw transpire yesterday when the Rams literally blew the doors off Tampa. And yeah, but honestly, my pick right now for the Super Bowl is the Los Angeles Rams, and I think Matt Stafford is going to be the MVP when it's all said and done. All right, guys, that's going to do it for the video. Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're not already. Follow me on Twitter, links in the description down below. Anyways, guys, have a good day, and peace out.